Welcome to Overtime on Inferno, your weekly roundup of all the big stories in CSGO, quicker than literally any team can pick up JKS. Quick reminder to rate and review us at the end of the episode. It really helps us. I'm Logan. This is AZSque. Let's get into it. I feel like there's one story we have to start with today.
We don't have to.
Okay, but to be fair, it's also our only story for the day. So we're either gonna start with it and we're gonna end with it.
All right. I think there's more than one story.
Okay. We're gonna start with it though. IEM Katowice.
What's that? That's not what I thought. I thought we were going something completely different. I thought we were.
Shit.
I thought we were talking about like Cash Cup or something.
Did you see that ATK was the only team to win the European Cash Cup and also NA Cash Cup?
Yeah, I did.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that's.
You were not expecting me to pull out the Cash Cup knowledge.
I'm pretty impressed with myself that I was able to name an American tournament.
You know what? That's a good point. There's not many of them right now.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with myself with that.
All right, so what do we got here? We got Phase 1, IEM Katowice, in perhaps the longest best of 5 final 3-0 that has ever happened.
Yeah. It was enough rounds for like
5 maps.
Best of 5.
They played 5 maps. Yeah. So what was it? Inferno. The first map 1 was Inferno. We went to single OT on that map after FaZe came back from like an 11-3 half or some shit like that.
Yeah, that was a
11-4,
34 round game.
Yep. Then we had Mirage, which ended 31-27. Which, quick story about this: I left for the gym at the beginning of this game. I got back from the gym and the game was still going.
You clearly weren't grinding enough. You haven't been on your grind.
The game went like an hour and a half, man. It went like 2 hours.
I think it was 2 hours from start to finish.
I live 5 minutes away from my gym.
By the end of the second map, they finally had been going on for 4 hours.
They legitimately had to take a piss break.
Yeah,
like one overtime before they finished too, which was honestly funnier.
Yeah, they went to the toilet. That's what they were doing. Definitely no talking strats over there.
Honestly, I don't think anyone cared at that point.
No, I don't think. At that point, you've run out of strats. You've played 50 rounds of fucking Mirage. There's only so much more you can do.
I mean, normally after 3 rounds of Mirage, you run out of strats.
Speak for yourself. I am a strat book. I am a human strat book.
All right, name me 3 strats.
Fake A go B, fake B go A, A split.
Oh shit, he's got me there. All right, so and then Phase 1 G2, 1 Dust 2, finally in regulation, but of course it had
30 rounds.
30 rounds.
Yeah, it was something like it was about 100 rounds essentially. I know it's over 100 rounds.
No, it was more than that.
Yeah, like 100.
Map 1 was 34, map 3 was 30, so that's 64, and map 2 was 58. So we're at like 118.
100
somewhere there.
24, right? I don't know. It's a lot.
A lot of rounds. A fuck ton of rounds. Like 4 full maps worth of rounds. But like realistically a full best of 5s worth of rounds and Phase 3 out.
And hilariously, G2 still managed to lose 0-3.
Oh my god.
They've played 120 rounds, still managed to lose 0-3. It's poetic, it really is. And there was like choke on top of choke on top of choke this game as well. It was mad.
Yep.
I mean, it was to be expected. It was Carrigan versus Nico in a grand final. Like, there's going to be a significant amount of choking.
Let's talk about how the teams got here real quick. Gambit lost 0-2 to FaZe in the quarters. Nobody from Gambit showed up, and everyone from FaZe showed up.
Yeah, that pretty much covered it. They got manhandled.
Oh, actually, note. If you didn't watch Kato, you should. But JKS still played in the playoffs, but Rops was back. Rain tested positive for COVID, so JKS moved from the Rops positions to the Rain positions.
Yeah, and he was like the highest rated entry fragger in the tournament, which is
disgusting.
Mad. Given he doesn't entry frag.
No.
It's insane.
Yeah, so FaZe 2-0'd Gambit. They then 2-0'd Heroic, who this Heroic team looked terrible. I don't know what happened, but they looked bad. Like their highest rated player was Tessus.
I mean, they still don't look fully set on LAN.
Tessus was their highest ranked player at 0.97. After that, everyone else was 0.75 all the way down to 0.57, which is rough. And no one on FaZe was below a 1. No, the lowest rated player was Twist with a 1.15, which is
Heroic still don't quite look set on stage. Similar to Gambit, but
yeah.
I mean, it's to be expected, right? They came up during the online era. I mean, it's entirely possible they're actually just not that good, but they look so good in the group stage that you have to think it's like yips in front of a crowd.
Yeah. Virtus Pro lost to G2 in the quarters.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
I like VP. And it might be the last time we see this roster together.
We'll talk about that in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But actually, there's two parts to that we'll talk about in a couple minutes. Na'Vi lost to G2. Okay, there's definitely external reasons here for the possibility of Na'Vi losing to G2 here.
Yeah,
we had talked about this.
We shouldn't take anything away from G2.
We should. G2 played well.
And that Monacy 1v3, bro. Oh my!
The Monacy 1v3 and the Boomich 1v3 happened in the same map.
Yeah, nah, but that Monacy one is fucking. That kid is special, dude. Like we're so the next video I'm doing with ESL is about Monacy, and we like spoke to him. Like we had to sponge interview him and ask some questions for us, and like. That guy is fucking cold. He's 16 years old giving an interview in his second language. And he's like, some of the stuff he's like, he's like, oh yeah. And at one point he like looks dead at the camera and just goes, yeah, I'm ice cold. And I'm like, fuck, this guy's different, bro. He's different.
He's a baller.
He's fucking, he was level 10 on Faceit at 12 years old.
Bro, I'm level 2 on Faceit at 21 years old. What the fuck?
I'm level 5, but I haven't been grinding much recently. Like he was level 10 at 12 years old. He's like playing when he was 9, which
that's
and then he was level 10 at 12. 12 years old, man, and he's better than most of you listening to this podcast.
Yeah, but actually, probably everyone listening to this podcast. Let's be real here.
I don't know.
Simple if you're out there.
No, I mean, at 12 years old, he was better than everyone listening to this podcast. I think there's probably some people who are as good. But I mean, his 1v3, if you haven't seen it, like, because the ridiculous thing is the 1v, it's not against like, it's not Boomich, Perfecto, and so it's Simple Bit and Electronic are the 3 kills.
Yeah,
it literally doesn't get better than that.
He got literally the nastiest flicks I've ever seen too on that.
Yeah. So many people I've spoken to have gone like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even see the third flick."
Yep,
it's so fast.
It was so dumb.
One of the other things he says in that interview is he looks at Sponge, smiles, he goes, "I want to be faster." Oh my god, fuck off!
I mean, here's the thing: that wasn't even the best play in the tournament.
He was up there though.
It's number 2, but let's talk about the grand finals now because.
Yeah. You talk about the Rops one.
The Rops one.
The Monacy one's better though. The Monacy one's better.
The Monacy one's better
so
up until you go to the fact that Rops didn't lose a single HP.
Yeah, I think that says more about G2 than it does about Rops though. Like the fourth kill's so weird, the Deagle one, because he peaked.
The first Deagle one, because he got an ace. He got 5.
Sorry, I meant the final. The final kill.
The last kill, yeah.
Where he jiggles, hides, and then he re-peeks, and then he lines up the Deagle shot. And whoever, I can't remember who it is, just doesn't shoot him. Watch it again. There's like a second where he peeks out, goes like that, and then comes back out, and then lines up the headshot, and then fire. Like he makes sure he doesn't miss, but the G2 player just doesn't shoot him. I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know what it like, but I don't know why he was allowed to.
I don't know either.
Line that shot up. Like that doesn't normally happen at this level.
Every time you have one of those insane plays, it's always because somebody on the other team played it poorly in some sort of way.
Oh yeah, of course. But like the first 3 kills are like, so the first 2 are nice. The third one, the guy's low HP. It's only the fourth one where I'm like, I feel like you really should have done better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go takeaways from this event. JKS is the greatest stand-in known to humankind.
Probably. I mean, that was one of the best standing performances I've ever seen.
I think
if
this
not
is actually the best. Yeah, because I think other than that, it's the other events that FaZe have won, right? When they won Sydney with Exist, and they won something with someone else. I don't remember who it is. This stat kept being brought up during the broadcast.
I know Carrigan didn't Carrigan win something with Regin against G2.
I
Was
think
that
they
Carrigan?
won part of Sydney.
Whichever
Mousesports-
tournament it was.
I know Mousesports won something with Regin.
Yeah,
think
they
it was in
did, and I'm
Sydney.
pretty sure it was with Carrigan, and it was against G2. I'm fairly sure.
I'll believe that. No, but there is another standing performance that FaZe like won something with, which is stupid.
Was it Neo? It might have been Neo.
It was Neo.
Or Croman. It might have been Croman.
I think
They had Croman for a bit. They had a whole bunch of stand-ins, and they all look solid. Like Neo was, he's Neo. Croman looked really good on FaZe and just disappeared off the face of the earth. And now JKS looks fantastic.
Yeah, so JKS, I don't know what JKS averaged over the event, but it was disgusting. Hold on, let me see.
It was his impact more than anything. The fact that he was a stand-in playing roles that he'd never played before.
He played
and
two
looked
different
this good.
roles.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't that he played one role. He played two different roles over the event, and that's kind of disgusting. That he was able to slot into Robs' role, get them to playoffs, and then slot into Rain's role and win it. And it wasn't like he was bottom frag every game. He really wasn't. He was definitely pulling his own weight.
Yeah.
Thing I hope for JKS. Important thing I hope for JKS. Please, FaZe, for the love of God, send him a jersey with his actual name on it
and an Australian flag. You would think actually that this is quite a good opportunity for FaZe, like marketing wise, to make sell FaZe jerseys with an Australian flag on it. Because
yeah,
that would be quite a cool thing.
Again, context. JKS wore a Twist jersey the entire event. Because I assume my guess is that they have production in the US for FaZe apparel because
it was I'm pretty sure it was an old shirt because they had the tape on the shoulder.
Yeah.
So it must have been an old shirt because the new ones just have FaZe Clan there.
My guess is they couldn't make a new jersey in time. Is my assumption.
Or they just thought it wasn't worth doing because they thought he was only going to stand in for the group stage.
Yeah. But so he wore a Twist jersey the entire time. My friend who's Canadian came over and was like, "Oh, they have two Canadians." I had to explain. I was like, "Well, actually, no."
I imagine they wanted to give him Rain's shirt or something, and they were like, "Rain is 3 or 4 sizes bigger than he is." It's it'd have been a dress on him. So
it was Twist was the same size. It worked out well, but get him a jersey, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have to ever wear it. You don't need to sign it to FaZe. Just get him a regular jersey though.
Yeah, I say it would. I mean, it seems like quite a cool thing. Just give him a framed FaZe shirt with an Australian flag on it as that would make sense. I've heard Complexity have a fee that they want for him, which is about half, under half of what Fnatic one for Broland, I'll put it that way. And from what I gather from Complexity, they're not actually that bothered about the money. They just want to see JKS they want to do good by JKS. And if somebody comes in with a reasonable offer, I'm pretty sure they'll just go. Yeah, if this is what you want,
I'm bringing up the thing. Because Jason Lake tweeted, so Nell tweeted, JKS deserves a team. Complexity has to use him, or Fnatic, OG, and maybe EG and Mouse later. Criminal to see him on the team. Jason tweeted it with completely agreed. JKS wants to live and play in EU. We kept him on a salary and secured his visa, but have had no offers yet. Hopefully this event sparks some interest because he's obviously still a star and deserving of a team. So it sounds like there just wasn't interest, and now hopefully there is interest because he literally, his name is Justin Savage and he played like a fucking savage. He
was a superstar in 100 Thieves. I really think that period on Complexity killed a lot of the hype for him. I mean, it certainly did for me. I thought we'd never see JKS back. I was really gutted because I really liked him in 100 Thieves, and now it's
I'm certain that if I go onto your Twitter right now, there is a tweet that reads something along the lines of, "Is it finally time for me to give up on
Yeah,
JKS?"
because for ages I was like, this guy is a superstar. And then he went to Complexity and he just was not a superstar. And I was like, I'm worried we'll never see it again. And then it's like, I wouldn't go looking for that. I tweet a lot. You'll be
I
there for
started
ages.
scrolling and
Yeah.
I was like, "Nope, we got to the Cato
I
final.
tweeted a
This is
lot
us."
over Kato because it's a big
Cato.
event and have to keep my brand up.
Brokey played a lights out game.
This guy's a
in this.
fucking monster, dude.
Yeah,
He really is ice fucking cold. He is so cold. Like I keep calling him the snowman because he is just all ice. Like
can we
he
get that
doesn't.
cannon?
I'd love that to become his nickname because he is a fucking snowman, bro. He is ice cold, like permanently. Every single like 2v3, 3v3, 1v2, he plays it perfectly. Like
He is so good in the clutch. There was so many rounds that FaZe just doesn't get unless he clutches it out. I remember he had a round where he clutched it with a rifle. He had the op available and he clutched it with a rifle. And I was just like, kid just knows how to clutch, man. Like
he's
he's
like
got the gene.
his appreciation of space in the clutch is like it's unbelievable. There's one at the end of Dust 2 where he plants the bomb, and I think there's like one coming up short and two short and one CT, and he just like never ever gives them a chance to shoot him because the way he like uses the sight box, like the way he positions himself at each fight was just perfect. Like you actually couldn't play it better than he did.
It was 2 CT.
Yeah,
because they boosted CT, and so
yes, that's it. And he like picked the guy, and it's like how are you this aware of every single angle at the same time? Like it's so impressive, dude. That shit is like incredible. You cannot teach that either. That's not something you can sort of learn. You just have to have the instinct and have the ability to do that. You can't teach them. You cannot teach somebody to clutch like Brokey. I don't think Brokey could teach somebody to clutch like Brokey because it's all instinct.
Yeah, Brokey had an insane tournament. Do you have anything else on Kato, or do we want to get to story part 2 of Kato?
I'd like to talk about the fact that halfway through map 1, a bunch of people were tweeting about how Alexi B was better than Carrigan, and if FaZe had Alexi B in Boston, they would have won. And then they choked even harder than FaZe did in Boston on Inferno, and then choked again. Well, not really choked on Mirage, but didn't close out Mirage, and then didn't close out Dust 2. So I thought that was very amusing. Maybe it's not all Carrigan's fault.
No, yeah.
Maybe there was a bigger factor, which was Nico choked the fuck.
We've been saying this for a very long time.
Poor fucking Hunter, dude.
Bro, we've been on the Nico is wrong train the entire. Like Thanos did nothing wrong. Like the whole
dangerous, but I'm aware of the concept.
Yeah, there's a whole like subreddit for Thanos did nothing wrong. So it's just like we are now on the Nico did everything wrong train.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Hunter because he kind of has to. He still has to love Nico. He's family. He has to love him.
I mean, what was it? Nico's mom was there, and there was an interview and Hunter was getting interviewed, and he was like, "How does it feel like that Nico's mom? Oh, I guess your family's." And I don't remember the interview. I think it was Paula, but the interview was just like, "Yeah, Nico's mom. Sorry, your aunt."
Yeah, close enough.
I was dying, man. All right, let's talk about the other portions of things that happened during Katowice. Without getting political, Ukraine got invaded by Russia, and there are waves coming from that.
Yeah, so essentially Blast announced that Russian-based organizations, which, as far as I'm aware, the only big ones are Virtus Pro and Gambit.
Team Spirit.
Team Spirit are the third one, but I'm not certain on them.
They are. From everything I've heard, they are Russian-based. But Russian-based organizations, not Russian player organizations, which is a big distinction because Entropic is a Czech organization.
Navi, Ukrainian.
And Navi is a Ukrainian organization. Entropic has a full Russian roster, and Navi has a three-man Russian roster. Please continue.
And at the time of recording, ESL have said nothing, but I'm pretty certain by the time this goes out, and if not, we might have to edit this bit out.
Well,
I'm pretty certain by the time this goes out, the VP and Gambit will be announced to not be at Pro League.
Hello, it is me, Future Logan. I'm here to tell you that about one Twitter refresh after we ended the podcast episode, ESL released its statement. So Elliot and I came back, recorded something. This is that. Okay, so just our luck. The second I hit the stop button on the podcast recording, the ESL statement came out, which is different than what we thought it was going to be. So we're redoing, we're saying up more things at the end of this now. And by the end, I mean, this will probably be slotted somewhere in the middle of the podcast. And yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just read the statement. We're all shocked and saddened by the Russian invasion into Ukraine and hope for a swift and peaceful resolution. After monitoring the situation, we are now putting an initial set of actions into place. Together with our partners and employees, we're currently working on actions to support the people suffering from the current tragedy with donations to the United Nations Human Crisis Resolution, I think that is, UNHCR, paid time off for employees to volunteer for humanitarian relief, and paid time off for affected colleagues. On the upcoming ESL Pro League, which is governed by the participating teams and ESL, we have made the joint decision that organizations with apparent ties to the Russian government, including individuals or organizations under alleged or confirmed EU sanctions related to the conflict, will not be allowed to be represented. Currently, we have identified two teams, Virtus Pro and Gambit. The change part that we did not expect was we recognize that players are not complete with the situation. We do not think it is the spirit of esports to impose sanctions on individual players. The Virtus Pro and Gambit players are therefore welcome to compete under a neutral name without representing their country, organization, or their team sponsors on their clothing or otherwise. Furthermore, out of respect for the situation, we've decided to pause all scheduled competitions in CIS region. They'll be played at a later point in time. We will monitor and evaluate further competitions to make further decisions as the situation evolves. So, basically, the important thing to get from that is Virtus Pro and Gambit won't be there as Virtus Pro and Gambit. If this now goes back to the second portion that we were talking about previously, which is if the players can get out of the country to where Pro League is being held, then they can compete under whatever name they want, with whatever name they want, as long as they're not showing sponsors, they're not showing their country flag, they're not showing their team name. So we could have like X Gambit or some shit and have all the players with no sponsors and just white t-shirts, and that would be legitimate, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple complications to this that I can foresee quickly, right? So first complication is a lot of countries are now banning people from Russia. They're banning visas to get into other countries. That's a step. That's a blocking portion. The second part is contracts, because players' contracts might be written in such a way that won't allow them to play for other organizations at the time, play in tournaments under a non-organization name at the time.
Yeah.
So, i.e. playing in Pro League under a non-Gambit name may be specifically disallowed in a contract. So this is not a confirmation that Gambit will be there. Gambit Virtus Pro will be there. I keep saying Gambit, but Gambit Virtus Pro will be there. But there is a road to them being there.
Yeah. We don't know. Yeah, but I mean the statement is as fresh as.
Like literally, we stopped pressing recording.
So.
I pressed the Twitter home button and it was there.
Yeah. So this is super fresh. We don't know if they're going to be competing or not. I have no idea. But there is an opportunity for these players to play, or at least an opportunity for some of the players to play. Even if, like, say, maybe Yekindar, Buster, and Kika can play, but the two Russians can't. Like, maybe they can. I don't know. I don't really know how it would work, but we'll find out in the coming days, I suppose.
Yeah, it's going to be another one of those, like, we're just going to have to wait because we don't have more information. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to your regular scheduled podcasting. Yeah.
Blast I don't know who will replace them.
Blast has already said that they won't be. So there's a lot going on with that. And the question you're probably not asking yourself is what's going to happen with Yekindar? in which,
Yeah,
well,
which
they
seems,
don't know either.
yeah, it seems like such a flippant point to make, to talk about Counter-Strike in the middle of this, but like you're not coming to me and Logan for insights on why Putin's invading Ukraine,
Yeah,
right?
that's
We're here
you
to
go
talk about
to
because I
you
can't
go
give you
to
those insights, and I'm
that's why
not
you go
even
to
going to try.
Ryan. That's why
That's
you go to Ryan.
terrible idea, but regardless, so Yekindar gave an interview to a Latvian site.
Yes.
I originally saw this on a HLTV thread, and then I think HLTV
Yeah.
actually put a news post about it.
Yeah. They did.
But and in there, if you run it through Google Translate, he essentially said, "I don't know what's going to happen. None of us know what's going to happen. But if my
I'm gonna,
teammates can't get visas and things keep happening, like there will have to be changes."
so I have the exact quote. If there are any regulations or restrictions regarding the arrival of my teammates from Russia to the tournaments, visa issues, or rules from the organizers themselves, then it's very likely that there will be some changes. Well, most likely there will be. All I can do is wait and see how things unfold. The future is uncertain. And then he later said, at the moment, I really don't know if it will be possible, and then in brackets, to continue playing with them. Um, would I continue? Everyone on, and then he says, everyone on the team is great friends. Would I continue playing with them? I think so, but at the moment, I don't know if it will be possible. I haven't gone to sanctions and changes yet, including on the financial side. There is still uncertainty.
So I see that as him saying, if it's just the Russian organizations that get banned, he would like to stay as a five and go to a different organization, which personally I think is the ideal solution.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure Belgium are currently put restrictions on Russian visas. So and the majors in Belgium.
Yes.
So there's a chance that Yekindar and VP wouldn't be able to play at the major because two of their players wouldn't get in. So he might see that as like, shit, for my career, unfortunately, I have to go. And that would be a shame because this team's hella fun. But
Yeah. So there's a lot going on with this, and as per I will, as our first major geopolitical event that we have to cover on an esports podcast, I will give the news warning of this is an evolving situation, and as this podcast goes out, things may change.
and also what happens to Virtus Pro is very much the least important part of the war.
Yes. But you're listening to this for esports, so
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna give any my fucking dog shit opinions on anything because it doesn't matter what I think.
Yeah, obviously Twitter has that. No,
yeah, exactly.
I'm
If you want that, you go to Twitter. Exactly. So I'm pretty sure these two teams will be blacklisted from a whole lot of events until the war ends.
I think what I heard from I was on to you before, I watched a stream from Ryan last night, and he was saying that there's a possibility that Navi and Entropic will not be able to play because
their players won't get in.
Yes, because of visas. Because players won't get in. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion of a couple things. I think Navi will be able to play because I don't think they re-entered the countries. Actually, I have conspiracy theory notes here. That Simple is actually staying in the Netherlands with Team Liquid.
Quite possibly. I don't know if you saw Monacy was staying with Nico.
I did not see that, but I saw something from Liquid CEO Victor that is in the Netherlands office that said, we're opening our apartments to whoever needs them. We already had a non-Liquid player, we have a non-Liquid player staying with us already. And it was like the same time Simple started tweeting things. So
that would make sense, right?
And Simple has that previous relation. I think that Navi will be fine because they were the big thing with Navi is they were out of the countries to begin with, right? They were in Poland. And now they can stay external, right?
Yeah.
They can go stay in the Netherlands. They can go stay in France with G2, right? They esports has very much rallied around this in such a way that we don't give a shit right now. We want to make sure everyone's safe and that kind of stuff. So there's no teams are going like, fuck no, this is Navi. We don't want them to be on their game. We're going to keep that out. Gotcha. Everyone's being human here. So like, teams are trying to do the best they can to help support these people, right? So, but Entropic, who isn't out of the country as far as I'm aware, might have issues getting to the event, which would the event being ESL Pro League that starts a week
Yeah.
from today.
As far as I'm aware, it's only Gambit and VP who are banned or who won't be able to go.
Yes, there's a difference. There's a difference between banned by ESL and banned from leaving the country getting into the other country. There's two different things.
Yeah, of course. I say I saw. I think it was on Nico's Instagram. So I saw a picture of it where he was saying that Monacy was staying with him for the time being, which probably a good shout if they wanted to get in. But
yeah,
fuck it. Can you imagine like you're a 16-year-old kid. You've been signed by G2. You finally, and then like I was like, oh yeah, by the way, you can't go home. Like what? The kid must like I don't know, man. I mean, I guess he's gonna be hardened by the time he's 18. But Jesus,
I mean, he's already cold. You said so yourself.
Yeah, but like that's mad. Like at 16 years old.
Yeah. And then there's one more topic I wanted to cover quickly. Which is European RMRs are still going on. Because they never stop.
Yeah, let's not talk about this, I reckon.
I don't want to talk about a huge amount of them, but I do want to talk about the fact that Big is not fielding Keto for the second European RMR. They are in fact fielding Crimbo, who is from their Big Academy team, following in the footsteps of Mouse Next, Young Ninjas, Fnatic Rising. Why can't these have normal names? Why can't it just be Fnatic Academy? Not the point. Following in that kind of stuff, that we have Academy members being brought up right now. So it seems that Crimbo will be playing instead of Keto. I don't think this move's going to work. I have a very...
Isn't he the IGL?
I don't know, but I have a very technological reason why this isn't going to work.
Is it because he doesn't have N at the end of his name?
That is exactly correct. He does not have an N at the end of his name. As we've said for a while, that is that is exactly what Big need to unlock themselves. They just need an N at the end of their last player's name, and then they basically have the Thanos glove. So
I don't know anything about Crimbo as a player. And if you want to know if he's any good and whether or not it'll work, I'd recommend just watching Maui Snake's video, because Maui Snake, for some reason, is like just the biggest Big fan. No pun intended. Like, he just loves Big, and I don't really know why. And he put up a video within about 5 minutes of the news coming up that was like 25 minutes long. I don't know how he did that, but he was immediately on it, and he's put like a half-hour video out on his thoughts. And I would just trust Maui Snake's opinion. That's I mean, realistically, that's how I get most of my opinions. I just copy what Maui Snake says.
Shit, maybe I should replace my co-host here.
No, I like Maui Snake, and if he says something on Big, then I tend to believe it, because other than when he said they'd be top 5 within 3 months, which was, very much like me saying North were going to be top 5 when they were on the brinks of closing.
Yeah. I have like everything else news here.
Yeah, there was so much that happened in the RMR that it's almost impossible to cover. What I will say is MSL and AZ are back and also out, so that's good.
Yeah, with the greatest team name.
Yeah, they're called Tokyo Revengers with 2 S's, which I'm not sure on. Seems a bit weeby to me, but fine.
It's such a weird team too. Oscar, Sunny, MSL, AZ, and Supra.
Yeah, it's
So
exactly
weird.
as weird as you would expect to watch as well.
And LMBT is coaching it.
I didn't know that. That's a really good pickup. Like, that's a really, like, I don't know how, like, this is essentially a mixed team. I know it's like supposedly under the Gorillas tag, which supposedly is an org, but also isn't.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on. But LMB, how they've convinced, I'm so amazed LMBT is like on a team. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this team,
Yes.
maybe this team is salaried and that's how they have like convinced him, but like LMBT is a very respected coach.
No chance.
I don't know. Well, like, if they do have an org, maybe they are salaried, but you would think they might have to like announce their moves rather than just say, like, just sneakily, just sneaking in AZ and playing. Yeah.
Instead of words. Yeah.
But yeah, like they got all the way to like the quarterfinals, whatever it was, of the open qualifier, and then lost to a team that is called like Striving Chaos or something, and they decided to pick Mirage against him. He's like, if you're playing against a team called Striving Chaos, you don't pick fucking Mirage. Like, it's
Nuke. That's a Nuke map.
yeah. Nuke's pretty chaotic as well. I mean, but like, come on, like, clearly you don't play Mirage against these fucking pug teams. Like,
yeah.
Well, there's always next open qualifier Copium.
I mean, there's 7,000 of them, so yeah.
Isn't it like 4 or 5 in EU? I think
there's 5 in EU.
There's been 2 now. So
yeah, again, there's like a million.
or 5.
Yeah, it's basically the same. It's literally just exactly the same. You got anything else?
I'd like to talk about the fact that Fnatic are asking NIP for 750,000 euros for Brolan.
Yeah, I meant to come back to this. Negotiations still ongoing, and by negotiations, I mean Fnatic asking for more money every time NIP says no. It's like you know when your mom's like, when you were young, she was like, if you say anything, I'm increasing the length of your punishment.
Yeah. If anyone talks during detention, it's another 5 minutes.
It's another 5 minutes.
But teacher, no, 5 minutes. But that's not 10 minutes.
It's exactly
750,000. All right, it's 800,000 now.
I think I did the math the other day. It was like $850,000 US, which we're now getting dangerously into device territory.
Yeah, if they do sign Brolan, they will have spent almost $2 million on device and Brolan to like still finish 5th at events.
I was gonna say, to be a playoff team.
Like, genuinely, does anyone think a team with device and Brolan is matching G2, Na'Vi, and FaZe for firepower?
Or whatever team JKS joins.
I mean, it would have to be a mad team for him alone to be there. But I mean, like, but you see my point though. Like, device and Brolan are good players, but they're not Twist, Rops, Brokey. They're not fucking Electronic Simple Bit. They're not Nico, Hunter, fucking Monacy. They're not even Flit, Yekindar, Jame or Yekindar, Jame. Like, Flit, Yekindar, Jame or Res, Brolan, Device. It's like a coin flip. And you've spent 2 million on this coin flip.
Yeah. I don't like that very much.
I think I like NIP's ambition, and Brolan I actually do think sort of makes sense for them in a vacuum, in that he is the best player in Sweden, probably. He is young and with potential to improve, and he is a massive upgrade on Plopsky. I don't think anyone will ever doubt that. But you're also spending a hell of a lot of money on top of money that you've already spent chasing a dream that is increasingly, like, is looking more and more unlikely every time G2 sign another superstar.
Yeah, it's...
If Virtus Pro break up and, like, say for example, FaZe decide they don't need Rain because they've just seen how good JKS is, and yekindar becomes available, and you put yekindar in FaZe, do you think NIP are ever getting near that team? Do you think there's any player in the world that NIP could sign that would make their firepower better than yekindar, Twists, Rops, Brokey? Every time somebody else signs another player, the gap widens. Like,
yeah, it's...
Unless Device comes back and he's in like absolute god tier superstar form,
and even
which
then, I still think it's coin flip. Then I literally still think it's coin flip.
Yeah, I mean, like, Brokey versus Device. Device is better in the early round. Brokey's better in the late round. Like, I don't care, bro. I'm not arguing that. Brokey is the best clutcher I've ever seen. He's incredible.
He is better than everyone that has quote unquote held the clutch master title before.
Yeah, bro, dude.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, it does help that he's an AWPer, and that will help you clutch. Like, do you remember? I mean, you obviously remember. I don't know why I asked you. Do you remember how good Skaduda was at the Boston Major?
Yes.
Like, because clutching with an AWP is just a little bit easier than clutching with a rifle. That's fucking obvious, right? But Skadoodle at the Boston Major is like Brokey's like that's his normal level. That's his modus operandi.
It's so dumb, man.
Like, he just wins every clutch. It's fucking stupid. Like, and every 3v3, he just Like, he's always in the right place. He's never caught off guard. I can't talk about how good Brokey is enough. Like, I don't think NIP are ever gonna have a team with as much firepower as Twist, Rops, Brokey, and then if they added Yekindar, that's just ridiculous. Like, I don't think they're ever going to be better than Nico, Hunter, Jax, fucking Monacy. Like, Hampus is a really good player. Rez is on his game can match, maybe one of those, maybe a couple of those players. Like, Rez at his peak is as good as Yekindar. But his peak is
always as good as Yekindar.
Yekindar's pretty up and down as well, but he's probably up more often than Rez is. Like, everything has to fall into place for NIP to match one of these teams firepower-wise. And it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like you're spending a lot of money to not be as good as these teams. I mean, maybe they don't even agree to this. I have a feeling Brolan will be an NIP player by the start of Pro League, but...
I mean... internet sources point to that, saying that that Brolin is still not on the Pro League roster, right? They're not planning on playing Pro League with Brolin right now.
Yeah,
like, so they're still expecting that he's going to be moved. My guess is Nipple cave at one point.
I think one of them will cave. It might be Fnatic accepting 600k because they've already decided they're not playing Pro League with him, so they might as well. Or it might be NIP going, fuck it, we'll pay them on it.
Where did I see that meme? I saw... Did I see that from you? Did I see that from
It
someone
might have been
else?
the TLDR account. We made a
I did
memes.
see it from the TLDR account. Jeez,
we made a couple of Brolan memes.
Good job, us. No, there was the SpongeBob, the handing him the wallet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, like I think Fnatic will be forced to accept less than 750k. I don't think NIP will pay that much, and I think Fnatic probably already resigned to losing him. So, the way I see it, they probably would fucking saw 600k and went, what the right? Like, and before they could snap their hand off to accept it, they went, do you reckon we could get a little bit more? Like, they're really test. Like, that's how I think it probably happened, but I could be completely wide of the mark.
No, you're 100% right.
I say JKS would cost you less than half of what Brolan did.
Yes.
I know he's quite a bit older, but
who cares?
I mean, that's why Brolan's cheaper, though, right? It's because he's 19 and we've already seen
not cheaper, more expensive.
No, that's why Brolan's more expensive.
Yeah, you said right.
Oh, did I? Sorry, yeah, that's why Brolan's more expensive because he's 19 and we've already seen how good he is. And if he's even if he's the same level as he is now for the next 7 years, he's still a really solid player, and you're essentially spending 80 grand per year or 100 grand per year. Whereas if JKS probably good for not quite as long, so but still, that look, is Jake 700k for Brolan is so much money, dude. That's so much money.
7 years for Brolan at 700k versus 2 years for JKS at, let's say, I'm making up a number here, 200k. That's the same price to performance ratio.
Yeah.
And you can get out of the JKS contract in 2 years when he's maybe not as good. And then you can just go after Brolan again for 500k because his value goes down. And you can just do the same thing.
It depends, right? Because if he gets better, which you kind of assume Brolan will, then he might be worth more into it. That's the thing. You could buy him for 700k, and then if he gets even better, you've got an asset that's worth more. Value of transfers is something I always find very interesting in football, and it doesn't really translate 1-to-1 in CS because as a whole, age doesn't work quite the same in Counter-Strike as it does in traditional sports because it's less of a physical demand. But it still exists, and people like to ignore that.
Unless you're Forrest.
Even then, Forrest isn't as good as he was when he was 22.
Yeah, he's still better than half the players playing Counter-Strike right now.
Well, yeah, but,
All right, and on that, we're going to finish up for the week. You can find us on Twitter at Logan Ramhap, at AZSK, and at ReadTLDR. We'll be back again next week where we'll actually know who's competing in Pro League, and
wonderful.